This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we're underway. So again, thank you all for joining me. My name is Jackie J. I will be the project manager on your Workforce Ready implementation for the TLM accruals and attestation modules. So today is just a high-level conversation. We're going to kind of close out the planning stages for your project and get into actually things like discovery, working on your build, get you guys into testing, and we'll kind of talk about all these different things as we go through the presentation today. Feel free to stop me at any point if you have any questions on anything I've said, or if it triggers something for you to think about. Don't worry about that at all. I did book this for an hour and a half. I'm hoping it will take us about an hour or so, but I just like to have that little extra buffer time for questions and things like that. So let me just give you the agenda for today. So we will be, all right, is my computer going to cooperate? There we go. So we're going to go through the introductions as well as review the order. We're going to talk a little bit about your customer success, what we want to be able to accomplish for you during this project, what the project successes will be. We're going to go through the project outline and tools, as well as what the next steps are for you at this point in the conversation. So I know something that Andrew had told me on our internal call is that time clock plus is a tired system, is how he referred to it. So those are some of the challenges you have. He also mentioned that the reporting capabilities are not as available as your team would like. So we want to try to address those issues as we're working on the project. Is there anything else that you have for challenges that I should note here on today's system?
Well, I mean, I personally don't think Time Clock Plus is extremely intuitive.
Yeah, it's also that we went from Time Clock Plus version 6, which is really old, and then we just upgraded to Time Clock 7 so we could get off the system so we could actually have support again.
Right.
And then we just kind of, since we knew we were moving to Kronos, we just didn't look at everything else. We were just like, this works, and
yep.
we're going to be jumping ship here soon.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Gotcha. All right, well, this one isn't as important as the next screen, where we want to try to figure out what your success criteria and the desired outcomes. So some of the things Andrew and I talked about is you're looking for a consistent platform, and using these 3 modules within Workforce Ready, I think you're definitely going to see that they all interact and play nicely together. He mentioned that you're looking for more reporting capabilities for each of your different members of your team for what they're needing and looking for. He said you were looking for system notifications that were available within Workforce Ready, no longer having to manually search for those notifications, and then also some type of automation for your PTO and attendance. Do those sound about right? Is there anything we're missing on this list?
I don't believe so. A consistent platform is definitely a big plus.
Yeah, and I like the second and fourth one.
Good. All right. So we're going to be keeping those on, eventually I'm going to be setting up status calls. Henry's going to be talking to you about success criteria. And these are the items we're keeping in mind as we move through the project for you. So just wanted to let you know that we are definitely looking to make those challenges you have today into a success factor on the project. And so right now we are coming to the end of the plan stage with today's kickoff call. Next, we're going to move into the assess phase, where you'll be working on completing discovery with Henry. So we're going to try to get that scheduled. If not today, he'll offer some times out in an email later on so that you guys can start working with him. Then once we have that SOC sign off on the discovery documents for accruals and TLM, he's going to work on building that out for you. And that time frame, we would be looking for you to mount your time clocks, work on your administrator training, start building your training program for your employees and your managers. We're going to go through a build review where Henry's going to be walking through each of the different things he's built out for you, showing how he built them, testing with you to make sure things are working as you would expect. He will then be helping you get ready for your testing, both your internal team testing to make sure things are calculating as you would expect, as well as parallel testing. At the end of parallel testing, once you guys tell us everything is working as you would expect it to be working, we will again ask for that SOC sign off to say you're ready to go active. We will process 2 payrolls with you, with this team, and then we will start a transition over to support. We have a newer program here. It's called Hypercare. So we will transition your team over to Hypercare. They're going to kind of take you through a really in-depth viewing of the community website that I was talking about a little bit earlier, as well as how to open tickets with the KGS team, and also just kind of walking through your setup to make sure that your administrators understand how your setup is working so that you're comfortable keeping it updated as you continue to work with Kronos. At the end of the survey, like I mentioned earlier, at the end of the implementation, we will be sending you out an email survey. It's called a CSAT survey. And Henry and I both do ask, if possible, that you could fill that out for us. We'd greatly appreciate it. We look forward to the feedback. We want to always try to improve things as best we can. So we do want your genuine feedback when you send that back in for us. And then the additional project items, in your case, that will be the attestation module that we'll be adding on. I don't think we have any true integrations. I know Henry's going to be building you a couple of reports to be able to take information out of Workforce Ready so you can process your payroll. There's no other systems you expect us to connect with in any way, is there?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure there. As I mentioned, we are looking, attestation generally only takes about 2 weeks to get set up, from discovery through setup. So that's a much quicker and easier implementation for your team. So a couple of things I just wanted to ask about in terms of your company. Are there any upcoming times off, or do you have any company shutdowns that we need to be aware of? Is there any deadline as to when you need to go live?
Do we need to do it before the January 1st?
It'd be that would be ideal.
Preferred. Yeah, that would be preferred.
But other than that, like having it done by January 1st or the new year would be our goal. Just because I know that we were trying to get the process going so that we could. That was the main reason we got it going as quickly as we did, so we could hit that deadline so we could be a part of like the conversion.
And then we'd probably want to stay away from the last couple weeks of the year.
Yep.
So then I think your original time frame of late November, well, probably the first week of December might be a good one to shoot for. First 2 weeks to do those 2 parallels.
Yep.
And then go live in the 3rd week in December. All right, again, we want to get through discovery. We can't set up a definite timeline until we get that discovery sign off. So that is our first and foremost goal here. Do you guys shut down at all? Is there any time off that we need to be aware of in the upcoming few months? Is there another project that your team is working on that we need to be aware of that might conflict with our project? Obviously, it sounds like you're setting up that LT Pro for your payroll. So is this team part of that as well? And is that going to conflict in any way?
I don't think so. I think LT Pro is mostly corporate, right? So we're just kind of.
We've done our work, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And
at the end of the day, we kind of take information from what will now be Kronos and we'll pass it over to LT Pro to process the payrolls.
Yep.
So I'm not sure what that stream of information will be yet, but that's what it is.
Well, it's going to be that report we were talking about earlier that we need kind of a sample of at some point once your corporate team's determined the layout of that. Henry will need that. He'll build a report for you so that you can then download it at the end of a pay period and then upload it into the LT Pro system so they'll process your payroll. Does that make sense?
No, I talked about the first couple of weeks of December. The first week we actually are in month end. I was trying to think after Thanksgiving. But Steve, are you here Thanksgiving week?
Yeah, at this point.
Roche, are here? So we could even do it that week.
Yeah.
That week would probably be better than the first week of December, to think of it.
Okay, again, we have to get through discovery before we can really set dead timelines on parallels and things like that, but definitely we are working towards getting you live on the system prior to the end of December and having the testing done prior to that. So Henry, do you see any issues with that at this point? Obviously, we haven't touched discovery yet, but.
I really don't, just off of the sales to service meeting we had and the fact that Parker likes to, make things a little easier than most. I think we'll be okay. I mean, I'm out the week prior to Thanksgiving, so I don't. Pardon me?
I said all of us are a little surprised.
That you said we're easier than this.
Oh, well, than most. That still leaves a lot of room for complexity. So.
All right, so we'll keep working towards that. In any case, if there's any time off, I can let you know. I am actually out the week after Thanksgiving, so that sounds like I'll be here available. I know that Becky, who's working with Henry, would probably more than likely be available. If there's any need to have her involved in anything, she can probably assist us. And if not, Henry will have a backup resource as well while he is out during that week as well. So if there's as long as you guys don't have any shutdowns and major conflicts in terms of another project going on that might cause us delays, and you're able to meet with Henry on a regular basis, I think we'll be in good shape for everything. And I know he probably wants to jump into starting the discovery as soon as possible. So at this point, Henry, is there anything that you would need from the team that you would like to have to start your discovery, or are you good to just jump into discovery? Is there any?
No, what I'm going to do is schedule a day. I know you said weekly pay period, so you're probably processing on what, Monday or Tuesday of each week, correct?
Yeah, Monday.
Okay. So if we were to look at the work week, what would be a good day to have a recurring weekly meeting for us to get together, at least to start with, maybe an hour, hour and a half on the first call and an hour on the second call to go through a discovery document that will help me understand your business, both how it looks, its structure, its organization, and how what your workflows are for employees, for timesheets, time off requests, timesheet edits, things of that sort.
Do you want to do it like at the same time that we're running payroll, or?
No, actually, I want to avoid payroll because you have plenty on your plate when you're doing that. I would rather find a day like maybe Wednesday afternoon or Thursday mornings or whatever is best for you that we can have a recurring meeting to go through this new discovery document.
Yeah, either Wednesday or Thursday is fine.
Okay. You're on Central Time Zone, so why don't we shoot for Thursdays at 11? Will that work? Sorry, 11 Eastern, 10 Central?
Sure.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right. So just a couple of more slides to get through here. So again, we're going to talk about training as we move forward. We're going to talk to you about a little bit more about our support and then also the partnership we have with you here. So we do need you to partner with us in order to make this project a successful project. And I think we are moving in a great direction here. So just to kind of give you a couple more slides, we do have some tools and support we're going to be using within the project. I'm not sure if you guys have used Smartsheet in the past, but we do use that to track the project. What I will be doing is I am going to set up this initial Smartsheet, and then I'll be sharing it with you probably once we get through the discovery process, so that we can give you a more specific timeline. So it'll give you information like key dates. So there'll be a couple of different sheets I'll give you access to. There will be an out of office, so that you guys can mark down when you won't be in the office, and Henry and I will do the same thing. We will also be looking at the second Smartsheet, which actually will be open items, and I'm going to show you a print screen of that in a second. And this is pretty much your view of what the project will entail. So you'll get a view of this, and I'll be sharing links with those later on in the project with your team. The other one is called open items. So as you get into testing, as you as the project team get into testing, as you identify issues, this is what we're going to ask you to fill out in the Smartsheet. We want to get as much information from you as possible as to what's not working, why you don't think it's working, and things like that. So again, we'll start talking a little bit more about this as we start to use Smartsheets, but just so you guys know, that is a tool we use here. And let's see. So there's, the open items log. And then all the items need to be resolved by our team prior to our transition to support. When we do transition to support, if there are any open items left, Henry and I will work through those with you before before we, end our calls with you and things like that, just so you know. So next steps, I think we kind of covered that with Henry. He's got your call set up. I will also be establishing status calls with you. During discovery, I'm going to try to join Henry's calls when I have availability. I'm hoping discovery for TLM won't take too long for your team so that we can get sign off and get him into build. He'll then work with the accruals discovery with you next. And while he's building TLM, and then he'll be starting to show you the TLM build after that. So what'll happen is I will probably reach out to your team to set up those status calls and offer you some times that I have on my calendar as we get closer to sign off on that discovery for TLM. And we'll start meeting on a weekly basis for a half an hour each week. And generally, the status calls don't last a full half hour unless you have lots of questions or something like that. I don't usually go longer than 15, 20 minutes, but we have a full half hour, just so you guys know that as well. I try to stay out of the way during discovery so you guys can get that done, because to me, that's the goal. So I will send out some information in regards to the change management class for you. I will update our slides on those couple of things we talked about earlier. I'm also going to reach out to Andrew in regards to those license counts and seeing if there's any way he can work something to have those fluctuate in some ways. Is there anything else I owe you? I will also send out to Amaret. I'll give you that information on how to sign off on the SOC process to choose your authorized approvers.
Okay.
So there'll be a few emails from me. I'm going to apologize now. I try not to send so many emails every day, but after kickoff, you're going to get at least 3 or 4 from me. Do you have any questions for us at this point?
No,
No,
none for me.
I don't think
No.
so. Not that we didn't already interject.
All right. So before the end of the day today, you guys will get a few emails from me. I'll do a follow-up on this I'll give you the attachment of the kickoff deck, so you guys have that on your hand. You'll have our contact information in my original email. I'm going to do user acceptance. You'll get some information on that from me today, so you guys can start talking about that, and also the authorized approvers. And I feel like I'm missing something in my head right now, but there may be another email that's coming your way from me as well. But I'll try to condense them as much as I can for you.
Okay.
Awesome. If you guys have any questions, if you're thinking over the weekend and you say, hey, I should have asked this question, please feel free to reach out to me. I am your main point of contact moving forward. And I know Henry is also available for you as you have questions, especially specifically to the modules. He's the guru for us here on those things.
All right.
All right, Henry, anything else on your end?
Nope, I already sent out my emails and invites, and we're good to go. I'll just look for that email from Zach at whatever time he can get those to me. Thank you.
Awesome. We look forward to working with you all.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Okay. You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.